Introduction of visiting Rotarians.
Thank you, David. Visiting with us today from Lake Hickory is Jim Whitworth, Wayne Powell, and Floyd Lucas. And visiting with us from Newton Conover is George Moretz. Give him a hand.
Thank you, welcome, and thank you for making up with us today. We also have some visiting Rotarians we'll introduce a little bit later. Any guests in the dining room? Down the right-hand side? About in the middle? Okay, any guests on the left? We've got to get better on that. 2 weeks of no guests. Okay, any other guests? All right, we do have some very special guests from Rotary College, Students of the Month, and Peter Kendall is going to introduce them.
Good afternoon. Thank you, President David. It's always a pleasure for me to introduce students from Lenore-Ryan, and I think one of the things I enjoy most about it is looking at their young vitas or resumes and just seeing all the kinds of things they're involved in. And our guests today are no different, and you'll hear about their extensive involvement on the campus of Lenore-Ryan. So I'd first like to introduce Morgan Hill. This is Morgan. Morgan is a senior who is majoring in music with a minor in psychology. And when Morgan came to my office today, I said, "I met you." And she's like, "I don't think so." Well, I heard Morgan sing at a recital for our Board of Trustees several weeks ago. She did a great vocal piece for the board, and then the next day she was doing devotions at our board meeting. So I had in fact met Morgan, and she just hadn't met me. In addition to her academic work and her major and her minor, she is a member of Alpha Lambda Delta, an honor society, the mortarboard organization, and Psi Chi, which is a psychology honor group. She's only got 3.9 GPA, so we're working to help her get that up a little bit. So good luck with that. I'm going to say that was a 3.9 for 5 semesters, right, in the president's on the president's list, and then in the dean's list for another 2 semesters. She's involved obviously in the a cappella choir and college singers. She was president of that group in 14-15. She was the tour manager for their trip to Costa Rica. That was quite a trip, I think. It was. So that's great. Was a vice president and treasurer of that group. Ms. Hill, that group as well. She's part of the Broy Hill Leaders Group. She's a residence life staff member, and she's the resident assistant for 4 years in Morgan Hall, which is now named after her. And in that role, she supervises about 35 freshmen women. Other jobs. She's an administrative assistant for the Lenore-Ryan Youth Chorus, where she manages the finances and helped them with their tour to Germany and Austria last summer when she gets around. And then has done volunteering work with the Marywood Christian Camp. I think you said you were maybe headed back there this summer. And after graduation, she plans a year of service with the Lutheran Volunteer Corps, August of 15 to 16, where she'll be working in a food and shelter, is it a food and shelter organization? And in Wilmington, Delaware. Yeah. So join me in welcoming Morgan Hill. Our other guest today is Jordan Maycant. I think I got that name right. Jordan is a sophomore at Lenore-Ryan, and we were talking about the fact that he was in the high school honors program when you were homeschooled here in the Hickory area. And so when he started Lenore-Ryan, I think he was already almost a sophomore, weren't you? Yeah, so he's moving along quickly through Lenore-Ryan, and I have a feeling he'll be headed on to graduate school at some point in his career. He is a double major in English and history. He's part of the Lineberger's Fellows program. He's in the Honors Academy, and he really enjoys acting in our various productions on the Lenore Ryan campus. And sounds like that's something he plans to do on an ongoing basis, maybe as an application. It sounds like he really enjoyed that. He's the tech leader for the LR conferences and events staff, and that means if you don't know how to do it, he'll figure it out. And believe me, I've been in that position many times, so thank you for your help with that. Did I mention the Honors Academy? I think you're a mentor with the Honors Academy. Let's see here. After graduation, he does have the intention of probably going on to graduate school, studying English, and looks to perhaps be an English teacher in the United States Peace Corps for a year or two. I guess it's a 2-year commitment usually out of when you leave Lenore Ryan. He's also a volunteer with the Hickory Soup Kitchen. And if you ever are walking into Shuford Gym, you know where the bear is, the charge, look down at the sidewalk down there. I think you're the one who started our little library there. It's a free library where you can put a book in or take a book out, and I didn't realize you were the one who started that, but it looks very nice there. And also, he's the LR Rotary Club Student of the Month. How about that? So welcome, welcome, George. Thank you very much.
Okay. Congratulations on being elected to this, and we have a little memento. This is a Rotary keychain flashlight combination. So when you're at camp this summer, you'll be needing this. I've tested it; it actually works. And Jordan, working around the auditorium and with the playmakers, there's some places down there in the bottom that are pretty dark, so you might need that. So congratulations. Okay, Frank Young.
Okay, so I'm a little late, unfortunately, but I have the sign-up sheet for the blood drive, which is the 28th. Most people like to sign up immediately for the 1 o'clock spot. There's only one 1:05 left. The rest of the afternoon is completely open. So I'll be standing here next to the piano. We will not take your blood today, but please sign up. We really appreciate it. And also, if you know anybody that may be able to give in your place, let me know, and I would be happy to sign them up as well. Thank you.
Okay, it's coming up, and we'll be talking to you again.
Also, I need to mention, as in years past, the Crawdads, thank you, Mark, has agreed to offer 2 tickets for every donation, as well as Mike Johnson is going to give a free oil change for every person that donates.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all.
Let's go. Okay. Lisa Svensson is not here, right? Had money to give her. She won, picked a joker last week, so she got money, so I guess I'll have to take that. Tell her she missed that. Today is the last day if you want to do a Paul Harris Fellow match. We're matching to get you up to wherever you need to be to get to your next Paul Harris Fellow or your first Paul Harris Fellow. So if you are interested in that, you don't probably have to have the cash today, but we need to know it. So let Lynn or Robert know that by the end of the meeting today if you are thinking about doing that. The strategic plan survey that we attempted to do and didn't really leave enough time, that's going to be ongoing. That's online on the website, and continue to look at that, turn those in. I got one today turned in, so just continue to do that, and we're going to have some more time next month when we're going to be reviewing that as well. So thanks for that. May 18th will be Rotary at the Ballpark. That will be all the clubs in the county will be there for that. That's on a Monday, the 18th. So we will not have a meeting on the 21st. But gates open at 5, game starts at 6. Tickets are $12 per person, that's food and the game. And Mark will have those tickets available.
Starting next week.
Starting next week, he'll have tickets here, and you can buy them at the gate. Just mention the Rotary password, which is Rotary. Okay, any other announcements that I have missed? Okay, Anthony Laxton and Bob Conklin. Oh, okay, got one
One
more?
of the reasons I'm late, we want to welcome all of you tonight to the American Honor Ale House and Brewery's grand opening. The chamber is going to do a ribbon cutting at 5:30. We're very excited. There'll be samples of the beers and sample of food, and we'd love to have all of you come out. Thank you.
Okay, we're very fortunate to be able to induct a new member today, Anthony Laxton, and we're gonna do that now. So, fellow Rotarians, it's the duty of our Rotary Club to add new members from time to time so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Today I welcome to our ranks as admitted to membership Anthony Laxton. And I'd ask that Bob Conklin, his sponsor, introduce Anthony to you.
Well, I'm just really excited. I think you all know Anthony's been coming to meetings now for some time, but it's just exciting to have a young professional in our club, joining our club today. Anthony is a Hickory native. He graduated from St. Stephen's High School. He went on to Lenore University, where he graduated with a degree in business. He works for Transportation Insights, and kind of some of his community development opportunities. He's very involved in the community. He cheers our Hickory young professionals, and you know how we feel about that. We're trying to keep them here. He's also on the Hickory YMCA Board of Directors. And what else is that? Oh, the Bond Commission. Yes, he's on the bond. He was selected to be on the Bond Commission. So he's very actively involved in that. So we're just thrilled to have him here. And I just think about Anthony could be a Rotarian for 50 years if he stays with us. A long time. So we're thrilled to have you. Congratulations and welcome.
50 years of perfect attendance starts today, right? Okay, Anthony, the object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular to encourage and foster the following. First, the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. So what we're saying is that's the reason we come here, to fellowship with other people, to find out other people that are in the community that have like mind, and to have an opportunity to serve. Second, high ethical standard in business and profession. The recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations and dignifying by each Rotarian of his occupation as an opportunity to serve society. So we try to get people from all walks of life in our club, and your particular profession gives you particular opportunities for service, and hopefully Rotary Club will be a conduit for that. Third, the application of the ideal of service by every Rotarian in his personal business and community life. So again, service above self is the big motto of Rotary, and we want you to be able to do it in your personal life, in the community, and in your business as well. Fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service. And so Rotary gives you the unique opportunity not only to serve personally in this club, in this city, in this state, but all over the world, because Rotarians are everywhere in the world, and there's service going on everywhere in the world. There are service projects that you can be involved with at any time all over the world, so it's very international. So I charge you to judge yourself by the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? The truth can never hurt. Untruth will hurt you, as you know. So the truth is always where you want to go. Is it fair for all concerned? Is it not just helping me, but is it going to be good for everybody? Is it fair for everyone? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Can you look back on what you did and say that it actually built a friendship and built something? And will it be beneficial to all concerned, which we just talked about? So, Rotarian Anthony, if we get everyone to stand. You've been elected to membership in this club because your fellow members believe you to be a worthy representative of your calling, and also that you possess qualities that will permit you to exemplify in your public, business, social, and private life the true spirit of Rotary. I wish to impress upon you that you have been admitted not only to the Hickory Rotary Club, but to a worldwide association. And by virtue of your membership in this club, you'll be welcomed into the fellowship of any Rotary Club in the world. The honor and privilege of Rotary membership carries with it duties and obligations. You'll be expected to attend the club's meetings regularly, perform your share of club service, place your knowledge and talents at the disposal of the club in its task of carrying out the principles of Rotary into the daily life of the community. So, we now formally admit you, and Bob will give you your pen and certificates and
I got all the certificates.
okay, welcome the newest Rotarian in the world.
We done, David?
That's it. And you may be seated. Okay, quickly, I wanted to give you a few highlights of the district assembly, which was this past weekend in Charlotte. And I don't know how many of you noticed that when I rang the bell today and said, "Welcome to the Hickory Rotary Club," that's something we learned in one of the seminars, that you got to be open and you got to be. Did you catch that, Bill? I did. So we had a guy named Michael Angelo Caruso. That's his actual real name. And he was great telling about a lot of things you need to do, like when you walk through the door, smile as you walk through the door, instead of coming in and looking around where your seat's going to be, and see if you can meet people. And the 5 most important words: I am proud of you. The 4 most important words: what do you think? The 3 most important words: will you please? The 2 most important words:
Thank you.
thank you. And the most important word is someone's name, remembering it and calling them by name. And things that you should not do, you should never say, obviously, I'm so tired. Let me be honest with you, like you've not been honest before. You're all set, and then there's nothing else after you're all set. You've ended any conversation. And have a nice day. Somehow it's a little hollow these days. So a lot of great things in a lot of the presentations were made there. So we're happy about that. There are 1,227,377 Rotarians in the world.
78.
78. Thank you. So that's your key number there, Anthony. 243,737 are women, 19.858%, in case you were counting. Africa and Asia are growing. China is now open. North America is declining. So we've got to come back in North America, but overall we're growing. Got a net gain of 38,838. 17,054 of the new ones were women, 43.91%. The annual fund giving so far is $123,080,710. The actual annual fund, there's 78.8 million to date, and they're looking for 120 million by July 1st. And we've got a check coming to them shortly, so we're going to help add to that. There are 34,600 clubs, and $48.9 million in grants were given to 758 clubs. In the district, they had a positive year in finances. There's a $75,000 reserve required, and they managed to keep that. Foundation, there's $154,852 available, and they gave $43,000 in global grants, $27,000 scholarships, district grants $45,000, and that'll go to $60,000 available this year. So lots of great things going on in the district, and I'm also proud to announce that you see 3 new, are they over here? Yeah. 3 new badges for our banner. We earned the Presidential Citation, We were one of only 6 clubs in the district to get the presidential citation. That comes from President Gary. And we also were one of 12 clubs to get the Distinguished Club Award, and that's another one of them. In the large club category, we were second only to Franklin. And Franklin cheated because they have the governor in their club. Obviously, that helped them a little bit in participation and different things like that. So, congratulations on that, being second. And the other badge is for our weekly bulletin. And Stan, are you here? Stan, congratulations, honorable mention. And one of only, there was a winner and an honorable mention, and we were, so I guess we could say we're second on that, which means we try harder. And the first thing Stan wanted to know is who won, because I want to see what we're not doing. We can beat them next year. So I think that was great. Also, it was really nice of the district, by virtue of us winning those awards, they bumped me up to the next Paul Harris Fellow for me. So I got an additional Paul Harris Fellow +2. So that was pretty nice of them. Okay, we've got a great program, and Mark, oh, Rotary moment, I'm sorry. Ernie, I wouldn't want to mess you up.
Okay, after all the rain we've been having, I wore an orange shirt today, so I would look like sunshine, big and bold. I don't know of anybody in the club that we need to talk about as far as health of the club. Does anybody know anybody we need to bring up or think about? Oh, okay. Birthdays this week, April 27th was David Millsaps and David Duke. They both have the same birthday as rock star Ace Frehley of KISS. April 28th was Jill Patton, and Jill shares a birthday with comedian Tonight Show host Jay Leno. And April 30th today, is Jeff Hale here? No? Okay. Jeff Hale, he shares a birthday with actor Burt Young from the Rocky movies, better known as Rocky's brother-in-law, Paulie. Okay, I've got a little bit of wit and some things that'll make you scratch your head today. Do we have any blondes in here? I don't want to offend anybody. Okay. 2 blondes walk into a building. You'd think at least one of them would have seen it. 2 Eskimos are sitting in a kayak, very chilly. They lit a fire and sank the craft, proving once and for all, you can't have your kayak and heat it too. If pro is the opposite of con, then is progress the opposite of Congress? Why do we wash bath towels? Aren't we clean when we use them? And why doesn't the glue stick to the inside of the bottle?
Good question.
Why does a round pizza come delivered in a square box? If electricity comes from electrons, does morality come from morons? Hopefully not. A couple more here. Why do we press harder on the remote control when we know the battery's dead? You'll go home and do that tonight, I promise. And why do banks charge a fee on insufficient funds when they know there's not enough money already? Quote for today from a former president, and I already shared this with one of the club members, so I've got to make an addendum to it slightly. But the government is like a baby's alimentary canal, with a happy appetite on one end and no responsibility or what might come out on the other end. And the final thought for today, and you'll scratch your head on this one, and everybody look around at your table, it's your best friends. Statistics on sanity state that 1 out of every 4 persons is suffering from some sort of mental illness. So if you think about your 3 best friends and all of them are okay, then it's probably you.
Thank you, Ernie. Those are definitely things to think about. I'm going to introduce them real quickly here. You can read in the front page of the Spoke, so I'm not going to go over all that again. but I did want to mention with Barbara and Bill Parker, who is they've got the traveling Alzheimer's program today. Is that right?
It is the Barbara and Bill Traveling Cart Show.
Traveling Cart Show. I did want to mention, in case you didn't catch it, on June 5th will be their 50th anniversary. So I did want to give them a round of applause for 50 years. Looking at their ages, they obviously got married in kindergarten. But on their 50th anniversary, they are going to be on a cruise ship. They are going to Denmark, St. Petersburg, and ending in Finland. Is that correct?
Sweden.
Sweden. And they are going to have a nice... I've been on a cruise ship, never to this level. They're going to have their own butler, have a room with their own butler, so that sounds pretty neat. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Barbara and Bill Parker with the Traveling Cart Show. Here we go.
Thank you for inviting us. We love this club, and every opportunity we have to visit you, we will take. And that's not just because you feed us so well. And Anthony, Bill and I would like to say congratulations and welcome you into the family of Rotary. When we were recently with an acquaintance whom we had not seen for a while, her first question was, so what are you and Bill doing with Rotary? And I began to tell her about the doctors. This was right after the annual meeting of CART. There were 4 doctors and we had met them. And I was telling her all the things they were going to do. These were the CART recipients of the funds. And I looked up and she's crying. And I don't mean weeping, I mean huge tears coming down her face. And she said her mother had recently died from Alzheimer's. She said, Barbara, it was bad enough that Mom didn't know me, but what was worse and what will haunt her forever was the vision of her mother sitting at the kitchen table. She has a whole plate of food in front of her, but she's playing with her food. Not because her mother was not hungry, she was. It's because she forgot what she was supposed to do with that food and with the fork in her hand. And at that point, Pat, our friend, said, you need to get a mascot that represents what you're trying to do. She suggested we get an elephant because it is said that elephants never forget. This is Track. His name is Cart spelled backwards. And he promises to never forget the memories that are slowly but surely fading away from all of the Alzheimer's patients. So I want you to raise your hands and put them up high, please. If you know anyone with Alzheimer's, if you've heard of anyone with Alzheimer's, look around. This is a major problem in the world, but I will only be focusing on this country. Let's put a face on it. Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the U.S. Since the year 2000, the deaths from cancer, heart disease, and stroke have all gone down. Alzheimer's has increased by 71%. 5.2 million Americans are currently living with Alzheimer's, of which 200,000 are what is known as early onset between the ages of 30 and 60. This group of people are usually genetically caused. By the year 2025, they are saying that we will have 7.1 million people living with Alzheimer's, and that's a 40% increase. This year, 2015, it is projected that Alzheimer's people with Alzheimer's with a brand new diagnosis, so new cases. I will break it down. You can see up on the screen at the age of 65 to 74 is 61,000. This year, new diagnosis. If by the time they're 85 years old or older, it is almost 4 times that number at 240,000. What they have found is that for some reason, 85 is the magical age when it absolutely explodes. Last year at the conference, I was sitting with Dr. Levine, a previous recipient of the CART funds. He is an absolute marvel. His mother died from Alzheimer's. He decided he was going to find a cure for Alzheimer's until he did his first autopsy on the Alzheimer patient. At that point, he knew a cure was out of the question. He said that it looked like an atomic bomb had gone off in that brain. The damage from Alzheimer's begins anywhere from 15 to 20 years ahead of time, and some doctors are saying 30 years before the patient feels the very first symptom. So it is not a cure now. The doctors have decided they have to go for early detection and prevention, and this is where CART comes in.
This is, in a picture, the issue we're facing. And up until recently, the only way to positively diagnose Alzheimer's disease was at the autopsy. Fortunately, because of CART funding, in the past 2 years, there have been 2 effective and successful, what they call in vivo or live diagnosis methods for determining Alzheimer's. And as Barb said, you can't recover. Brain cells don't regenerate. And once it gets to that point, it's lost. It's all over with. Some quick facts. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. It's not a part of aging. It is not. It never gets better. And currently, all we can do is try and diagnose and address the symptoms. If you don't remember anything else on this presentation, please take this away. Alzheimer's is reflected in the human brain by 2 things, and this is in every Alzheimer's patient. There's something called plaque, and there's something called tangles. What happens is, every night when you sleep, your brain is very busy washing out a lot of the waste products of brain activity. And among those waste products is something called beta amyloid protein. But for reasons that we have not determined yet, these proteins start sticking together and form balls of what are called beta amyloid plaques. And as you can see, they get between the nerve cells. And all thinking activity is the result of electronic transfer between nerve cells. And the plaques block that electronic charge from going from nerve cell to nerve cell. The tangles are a different situation. You're now looking at the interior of a nerve cell. And if you look at these tau proteins, they're like railroad tracks. Into the nerve cell come food, nutrition. Out on these same rail tracks come waste products. for some reason, and we don't know why yet, these tracks become tangled and the nutrition cannot enter the cell and the waste products cannot leave. As a result, the cells die. Let's talk about CART. In 1995, a Rotarian said, what the heck can we do about addressing this burgeoning problem of Alzheimer's? So he came up with a crazy idea of collecting pocket change. He tried it out. It worked well in his club. He went to his district and he said, I've got this idea. Let's take it to the district and let them decide if they want to do it. Well, CART sells itself. So in 1997, District 7770, which is Eastern or South Carolina, all the clubs were on board. But here's the issue. Yeah, we can collect money, but how do you get that money into the hands of the best researchers in the world? And this is where the American Federation of Aging Research comes in. They said, we will do a peer review and we will tell you what the best research is. So suddenly we've gone from just collecting the money to being able to identify into whose hands to place that money. And in 1999, the very first CART grant was made to Dr. Levy, $100,000. The remaining 10 districts of the Carolinas gathered together. We're going backward. Go back. Oh, okay, you're good, you're good. The remaining 10 districts of the Carolinas and Georgia adopted CART, and now it is spread through from Virginia to Florida and into Tennessee. In 2000, the first board annual meeting was held in Columbia, and they've decided that that's where the grants will be given. So next week, Barb and I will be traveling to Columbia for the next 3 CART grants. Here's the process. So now you'll understand how the money gets from the blue bucket into the hands of the investigator. There is a call for responders of a letter of intent, and it goes out on the AFAR website, on our CART website, and also CART mails a request for proposal out to every researcher on the National Institutes of Health list. At first it was like pulling teeth to try and get people to respond, and they respond with a 2 or 3 page, here's my idea and how I plan on doing my research. Last year we had 179 letters of intent. From that, the committee analyzes it, makes the recommendation for the best 2, 3, or 4 grants, and then the CART committee makes those grants. As of last year, we had 26 grants for $4.8 million. This year, we will pass $5 million, all in pocket change. And the key point is 100% of all donations, that means every nickel that lands in that blue bucket goes to research. The interest is what pays for the overhead, and as you all know, if you've got savings accounts, the interest rate's about that much. So we really struggle to keep our overhead low because of the low interest. Here are the key takeaway points. There is no cure for Alzheimer's. So Big Pharma doesn't want to invest a lot of money, because by the time that Alzheimer's becomes apparent through behavior, already 20 years have passed and the damage is done. That's why early detection is critical. Second of all, and I've got to share this with you, there's not a lot of money for Alzheimer's research. There's 5.2 million cases of Alzheimer's in the United States today, and the National Institutes of Health have $448 million for research. Compare that to AIDS. There's 1.1 million confirmed cases of AIDS in the United States. Last year's budget was $3 billion. So NIH says we gotta guard our monies. We can't just give it out to anybody. You have to come to us with proven research. Then we'll give you money. And that's the beauty of CART. CART funds the bleeding edge, allowing proven research. And then the proven research leads to follow-on grants. Thank you.
As Bill said, we were at the meeting and we met the doctors and we listened to them present their projects. And of course, I'm an RN, but I'll tell you right now, most of it went over my head. But they are really neat people. Before I tell you about the doctors, one thing you need to know. The immune system in the brain and the spinal cord are an entirely different animal than the immune system in the body. It works differently, it's more protective, and it's harder than heck to get something into it, like a medicine. So the doctors have to find first a vehicle that will take their drug past what's known as the blood-brain barrier, BBB, and I'm not going to get into what that is because we don't have the time. 4 doctors received, divided up $500,000 last year. The first one, Nigel Cairns, he has what he says is a promising new molecule. Molecules is one of the things we're looking at, and the other is kind of a manufactured cell, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. Anyway, he is testing this in the test tube. It is a large molecule, and size does make a difference. And once he finds that that works, he'll go on to the mouse models. These are mice that have been given Alzheimer's, so we know they have it. And finally, if that works, he will go on to developing a drug to be able to slow down the damage. Dr. Sunea Ikesu, has a hypothesis that the immune system itself in the brain actually sends out little tau particles, and this infects the cell, and then that cell sends out other particles. He doesn't know why, but he wants to find out. And he is looking at a small molecule. And when I say that, I mean that would be that he would inject the drug into it, and that would then go into be able to fool the brain cell into taking the drug. Dr. Ben Barr, for those of you who went to the conference this month, is what he calls himself the garbage disposal doctor. He's trying to find out why it is that the garbage disposing properties of the immune system fail in the brain and fail to take out the bad proteins, and why it is that it'll work in one cell but not around another cell. So he's looking into that. He's also looking for his vehicle at a manufactured cell. It's not really a cell, but that's the closest to it, that he would put his drug into and send it into the brain. Last year when I met him, he was saying that he was going to start Petri dish and then go to mouse model and then on to humans. I am so excited because this time, he said this month, that he's already done Petri dish, successful. He's done mouse model, successful. And now he is going to work with the government to start human testing. And the real exciting part about this is that it can be taken orally if this works in the human, and that's a huge if, because that BBB really is a difficult thing to get through. And the last doctor is Chunai Kao. Dr. Kao is coming at it from an entirely different direction. He is looking at something that's already in the body called dendritic cells. The cancer doctors are currently using this. It stimulates the immune system to fight the cancer. He's hoping that he can get this in the brain to fight the beta amyloid protein. That's a big if, and we have not been able to hear how he's doing yet. Not part of CART, but that you need to know, he is the doctor that discovered that the caffeine from coffee and only coffee actually does slow down Alzheimer's and its progression. And I want to leave you with this picture, and I know it's very hard, so let me tell you what it is. In the center is Dr. Kao. To his left is a woman, and she's holding a little picture frame. Last year, one of the CART chairs came up to us and said that her mother had died of Alzheimer's, but she was a knitter. All of her life, she had knitted little 12-inch, perfect 12-inch squares that she would put into a throw. She lived with Alzheimer's for 6 years. She continued to knit for that 6-year period. But those perfect, beautiful square-inch knitting squares became smaller and smaller and smaller and more disfigured. But she saw it as 12-inch square. So this woman put that into a picture frame for each of the 4 doctors. This is the first member of the CART team, the patient. The second member is represented by Dr. Kao. It is the doctors who dare to say, what if, and then go out and try to prove it, knowing full well he'll probably fail. And that's our second team member. And the third is represented by the huge check for $50,000 that they are holding on the left of Dr. Kao. And this is you, and you, and you, and me, and every Rotarian who puts a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter, a dollar, and we take checks into the blue bucket. And all of us together, the patient, the doctor, and you, are making a difference and helping people whose lives are getting smaller and smaller and smaller as they plead for help. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill and Barbara, for being here. And I can tell you that anywhere you go in a Rotarian gathering, you'll see these two at the meetings, and they're tireless in their efforts, and it is making a difference a little bit at a time. We got a great presentation at the conference, and this is the only place that some of that funding takes place for the research that then gets the grant. So it's very important. We're right on our goal for the year, and so this hopefully today will take us over our goal and continue through the end of the year. Okay, as we make our pull for the Service Bus Self, Morgan and Jordan, congratulations. Thanks for coming. Jim, Wayne, Floyd, and George, thanks for making up. And
brought in $87. $3,101 is the total. 13 cards and no jokers. Barbara, if you would do the honor. Let me take it, please.
okay, 920-850. 920-850. This is a lucky day that you could donate everything back to CART. Oh, black spade, but the wrong one. All right, we lived. Here's your. Okay, thanks for staying with us. We ran a little over, but I wanted to give that time to Anthony, and everybody be sure to talk to Anthony, welcome him if you have not already done so, and also our guest today. Please stand and join me before we test. The things we think, say, and do, is it true?
Is it fair on all concerned? Will build goodwill and better friendships. Will be beneficial to all concerned. Will it be fun?
What's that?
Whatever.